Tonight as our youth will give testimonies, and we're just looking for a great time in the Lord tonight. Take a hymnal and turn to hymn number 63. We're going to sing Our God, Our Awesome God. Hymn number 63. Let's stand together as we sing unto the Lord. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Let's bow for a word of prayer. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for the opportunity we have in the country in which we live, America, that we have the freedom to join together, Lord, and worship you. Father, thank you for Olivet Baptist Church, and thank you for those that have come tonight. Thank you for our youth and for our young people and their desire to serve you with their heart and life. Father, bless our time together now, and Lord, strengthen us as we live for you. In Jesus' name, amen. You may be seated. Keep your hymnals and turn to hymn 390, hymn 390, Bind Us Together. I know that young people sing this a lot. We sing it in school as well. Bind us together. Bind us together, oh, bind us together, bonds that cannot be broken. Bind us together, bind us together, Lord, bind us together with love. There is only one God. There is only one King. There is only one body. That is why we sing. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together, Lord, bonds that cannot be broken. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together, Lord, bind us together with love. Kids do that a lot better. They should come up here and do that, their little skit type deal. All right, Pastor Micah.
All right, welcome tonight to Youth Night. Tonight we're going to be sharing with you guys our experience at Raccoon River and all the fun things that happened, some of the silly things that happened, and some of the blessings that happened as well. Before we get there, though, we do have some announcements to get through. And if you look at the bulletin, the announcements, there's a lot of them. We have a big work day coming up here on August 18th. We could really use a lot of help around the school and around the church on cleaning up. There's still a lot of little projects that are being done, getting ready for the school year. Also tonight, there's a TNT after the evening service at the Tevin camps. The preschool is looking for some more help, so if you guys need to work a little bit on the side or would like another job, please talk to Mrs. Stone. She could really use a lot of help. Also, we have Kids for Truth is starting up here in a couple of weeks. So we're really promoting that, and if you would like to volunteer and help out with Kid for Truth, please see Mrs. Guess. And then also, there's a lot on that first page there. We have an open house for the school coming up. We have the first day of school coming up. We have promotional Sunday coming up. And then also the sexual abuse prevention class. If you're helping out at all with children, you need to take this class, and that's going to be Sunday the 19th. There's a lot of announcements, so be looking at your bulletins and also on the calendar. All right, if I can ask the youth boys to come on forward, and we'll pray and take the offering. Dear God, thank you so much for today, this opportunity that we can come and share what you have done in our lives. Thank you so much for this church and how they have supported the youth. I pray that we would have a good night. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Mrs. Bordes. All right, let's turn one more time in our hymnals. Hymn number 554. Let's stand together and sing all three stanzas as the deer. As the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after thee. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship thee. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may the Spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship thee. Good singing on the second. You're my friend and you are my brother, even though you are a king. I love you more than any other, much more than anything. You alone, to you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship thee. On the last, I want you more than gold or silver, only you can satisfy. You alone are the real joy giver and the apple of my eye. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship thee. You may be seated. Pastor Micah.
All right. All right. Well, at this time, we're going to transition into testimonies. So we would love to have the first three. I made them decide who was going to go first. The first three to come on up here, have a seat, and then we'll kind of rotate through. While we're at Raccoon River, and for you guys who don't know, Raccoon River is a small Bible camp up in Iowa, and it's where Jim and Sarah Engel are at right now. If you don't know, Jim and Sarah Engel came here for a short time, and then they were called up to the ministry up there. And so there's some connections there. There's a lot of friendly faces and people that we know. And they called me this summer, and they were asking if we would be willing to come up and to help them, and if Joel and I would be their speakers, which was pretty heavy on me, because I have never preached at a camp before. I've been in camp ministry for a very long time, and in fact, that's what my emphasis is in degree. So I've been counselor, I've been staff counselor, I've done lots of different areas of camp, but I've never been the camp speaker before. And so this is a really good opportunity and growing experience for me. But before that, I want to let the kids have a chance to say how they grew and what they saw and some fun stories and silly things that happened. So we're just going to go ahead and rotate through the kids. So when these three are done, the next three come on up, or four, I guess. There's four left. So, all right, who's first? Daniel, come on up.
Hi, I'm Daniel, for those of you that don't know me. God helped me a lot this week, but there's a couple things that he really helped me with. The first thing is he helped me have a good servant's heart. And a lot of the things are not really fun to do, like plunging toilets, but that was one of the things I did have to do. And dishes aren't that fun, but if you get the right people and you have a good servant's heart, then you can make it fun. He also helped me have a good attitude while I was doing it. Like plunging toilets is pretty easy to not have a good attitude while you're doing. It smells really bad. But yeah, a couple of the things I did that week. The main thing I did was I was paired up with Zach, and we were the maintenance guys. But I'm not really sure how good of maintenance guys we were, because we did break a couple of things. Yeah, so for instance, we had the job of weed eating and mowing the entire camp. And the first day we were there, the first day we started mowing and weed eating, Zach got out there on the mower and he was mowing all the grass, and then I was weed eating, and I saw him pull the mower back into the garage, and it was about 10 minutes in, so I figured he hadn't mowed the whole thing already. So I asked him what happened, and he told me he broke the belt. So we had to wait a couple days. They got a new belt, and he went back out there, mowed a couple. He came back in. I asked him what happened. I broke the belt again. Okay. And then, well, we were basically done already, so that wasn't too bad. And then I got the job of vacuuming out the pool, which I had never done before, but it wasn't too hard, and it was pretty fun. So, and then we did break a couple of the light covers too. Saw Zach bringing a broke one back, and he asked me to come help him because he broke that one. So I went to go put the new one in, and I didn't realize that the parts in the ceiling that hold the light covers in actually moved. So I put the one in, and then it moved, and the other one fell and broke. So that was fun. Yeah. And I want to finish by saying thank you for all your support. We couldn't have gone to this camp without you guys, and thank you for praying for us while we were there. And I know your prayers helped a lot. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I want to start off by thanking the church for the support that they gave us while we were on the trip. Whether you came to the car wash and supported us that way, or you sponsored us by helping the expenses that were on the youth trip, or by just praying for us, we wouldn't have been able to make it through this week without our church family's support, so just thank you for that. This week at camp was not at all what I was expecting. It was a lot bigger than I had expected. There was about 150 kids that week, and plus staff, there's about 200 people. So it was a lot of people there. And I had just come off of AGBC, and I was kind of sick going into it, but I knew that God would give me the strength that I needed to get through. When we first got there, they assigned us all jobs for the week, and we had a pretty young group there, so you had to be 16 or older to do like the maintenance and cleaning toilets because of the chemicals and doing dishwashers. So I was assigned as the dishwasher for the week. And Catherine Hardesty actually helped me a lot. She rinsed off the dishes and everything, but you actually had to be 16 or older to run the dishwasher. And they had to train me on it, so I was expecting this huge dishwasher that would wash like half the dishes, but it was actually really small, and it took like 2 minutes each cycle, and you could only fit like 15 plates in, so washing 200 plus plates took a little while. I just thank God for giving me the strength and the patience to get through all those dishes. And some of my highlights were just seeing how much we helped the camp. They really couldn't do it without us because we were pretty much all the staff there. All their staff was pretty young that year, so they were all campers that week. So just seeing how much we helped them, just seeing all the smiles on their face was really a highlight for me. And Saturday was also a highlight for me. All week was pretty busy, and we were pretty much working nonstop, so Saturday was kind of a chill day for us, which was kind of fun to just catch up and hear everyone else's fun stories and just how God has been working in their lives. That was enjoyable. Some of the things that we did in the kitchen this week, we had to set all the tables and put the silverware and everything out. We helped the head cooks cook a few things. In the mornings, we had to fill juice cups every morning, so we had to fill like 200 cups of juice and set them on the tables, and then we helped clean and stuff like that. So it was a fun week, and God taught me a lot through that week, and I'm thankful for the opportunity that I had.
Thank you for coming today. My name is Maria Garvin. I had a great time at camp this year. This was my second time going on a youth trip, and it was a very good one. I really saw God change lives at camp. Many people got saved, and I even saw some campers who really didn't want to come at the beginning, and people had to keep bothering them so they could come. But at the end, they wanted to come next year and had a great time. My job was the bathroom cleaning, and even though it wasn't fun all the time, I saw how much we helped them. It was a real blessing to them, and they really appreciated it. I saw how much the whole youth group helped them this week. They were very happy and thankful. I really had fun this week, and I can't wait to go back next year. Thank you to all the sponsors who helped us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all the people who came out to the car wash, sponsored us, and just really kept us in your guys' prayers. I am so thankful for all of you, and I can't wait till next year. Thank you.
All right, well, the next four come on up. And there are a couple of kids who are not able to make it tonight. Zach and Kennedy Yoder, they also went on the trip with us. And then also Isaiah Anderson came on the trip with us. But Isaiah is not feeling well. If you can keep him in prayer. He woke up this morning sick. And so he just texted me a little highlight and low light right now. So I'm just going to kind of read you what he told me. He said his highlight was the whole Zach and the pool exploding thing. And so to explain this a little bit more, I don't know exactly Isaiah's perspective, but I can tell you my perspective of what happened here. We did a night swim one night. So after the whole camp goes to sleep, they opened up the pool to the staff, and our youth group was the staff that week. And so we did a night swim very late at night, It wasn't the greatest idea because we're already tired and exhausted, but we're gonna go and chill in the pool. After the pool, we're all going back to our dorms and to our, the boys had a shower house over on our side. And so most of us are showering, getting ready for bed, brushing our teeth, and Zach comes like running full speed into the bathroom and was like, "Where's Pastor Micah? I gotta find Pastor Micah." And I'm on the other side, and I hear him. I'm like, "I'll be there, Zach, just give me a second." He's like, "No, the pool just exploded. We gotta find the boss." And the boss is Jim Engel. And so I'm like, Zach, calm down, because sometimes Zach can like be very animated. So I'm just like, "Calm down, Zach, it's all right. It's not that big of a deal." It's like, "No, I gotta find him." And he runs out. And so like I'm putting my shirt back on. I'm trying to chase him down because it's like 12 o'clock at night, and he's pounding on people's doors. I'm like, "That's not good." I step out of the bathhouse, and sure enough, I look over at the pool, and there's this gigantic geyser shooting up into the air. And it's pretty chilly that night. It's pretty cold, and so there's steam coming off, and it looks kind of like a little explosion. And so, of course, everyone's coming out of the cabins. What's going on? What's happening? And we had to jump the fence because we had locked it all up. And so we had to jump the fence and get in there and try to turn off the pumps. And what had happened was just a coupler came loose, and the filter was filtering straight up a pipe, and it looked like it was exploding. But that was a really fun time. Isaiah said that he's never seen Zach run so fast because he saw him just bolting across the whole camp. Isaiah also told me that one of the things that he learned is that God gave him patience. He learned patience at camp while serving. And that's something I think all of us probably learned a lot about. It was very unexpected. We didn't really know what we were walking into at Raccoon River. And so there was a lot of things that were handed to us that we didn't know was going to happen. And some of the jobs weren't the most pleasant. Like Daniel mentioned earlier, he plunged some toilets a couple of times because it kept on clogging. But the patience that we found and the strength that God gave us to be able to serve during this time was very evident. So I'm going to have the next four here go ahead and go, and then we'll go.
Hi, I'm Catherine. If you didn't. And this year I went on the summer. Thank you. I went on the summer youth trip, which was Raccoon River Bible Camp. So first off, I just want to thank Micah and Jana and Heidi for taking us up there. And then I want to thank the church for coming to our car wash and everything. That was great. First off, the first night that we went there, Mr. Engel was assigning us jobs, and I knew I wanted to work in the kitchen, so I signed up for that job with Caitlin, who was the dishwasher. And the first day, we got up at 6:15 in the morning, which when most people were asleep, and we went into the kitchen and started washing like the dishes from the previous night, and started setting out everything for that morning. And that night, we didn't get out of the kitchen when we got breaks. We didn't get out of the kitchen until like 9:30 at night, which was kind of rough because we had to get back up again the next day. So a low light from the kitchen was probably the garbage disposal. It chunked up food, and it was not my friend. You just didn't want to see me at the end of the day. And some days I got to work in the snack shack, the Acorn was what they called it, and we had a lot of business, and it was kind of rough figuring out the change. And, this one kid thought it was a smart idea to bring a toad in and scare us, and that was horrible. So throughout the week, Micah and Jana had a brilliant idea of having the whole youth group help out with dishes, which was such a great idea because it got so overloaded. And I know that Daniel and Celeste helped dry dishes, and Ronald and Isaiah and Zach helped wash pans, so that was great. So I think it was like sometime throughout the week, this kid came up and thanked me and Caitlin for washing dishes because he was normally the dishwasher, and so he was very thankful for us washing the dishes. So one of my highlights was the youth group. On a day when they had game time, we had a massage train going. It was pretty great. And something also that happened that was not very great was we kind of had a singing party in the dorm, and Mr. Engel told us that he could hear us from a while away. So, yeah. And my low light was probably just some of the exhaustion that came on with just washing dishes. But it was totally an eye-opener and loved it. And one way that God worked in my life was just letting me see clearly the happiness that working there brought to the campers and the staff. And yeah, it was pretty great. So that was my week. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Celeste Davis, and my experience at Raccoon River was truly a unique one, but also wonderful. I can pretty much say I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I signed up, but I was pleasantly surprised when I got there. From the moment we got there, I knew it was going to be a good week, and I knew God was going to help me get through whatever I faced with a smile. And He did, even when I got stuck with cleaning the toilets. But I had a good team with me, so it was fun. There were lots of good things that came from that week. Some funny, like when the whole youth group got to work the acorn. It got a little crazy, like when Javon almost choked on a popsicle, but we won't talk about that. And some more serious, like when the teens got to share how God worked in their lives. Words can't express how blessed I felt to be a part of camp that week. And getting to see the campers not only form bonds with each other, but also a stronger bond with the Lord. Lastly, I'd like to say thank you to the whole church in supporting us and making it possible for us to go to camp that week and be a servant for the Lord. And also, a special thanks to our great youth leaders who brought us out there and put up with all of our silliness for a whole week. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eliza, and I want to share with you my testimony of how God worked in my life at Raccoon River Bible Camp. Pastor Micah told us that our testimony had to be 3 minutes long. In reality, 3 minutes is a very, very long time to speak from a podium when you're shy and 14 years old. So, I'm attempting to accomplish this goal by using as much filler as I possibly can while still delivering you my testimony. I see God working in my life every day through my family and friends at Olivet and Shawnee Mission Christian School. But specifically at camp, God worked in my life by continuing to show me the importance of teamwork and working in cooperation with my teammates to accomplish a bigger goal. The bigger goal was to provide an awesome week of camp for the kids that attended. My team was responsible for cleaning the boys' and girls' bathrooms and running the snack shack. God gave me the strength to get through the week because cleaning bathrooms is not the funnest job I can pick, but in the end, we got to work at the snack shack. The theme for the youth group at camp was taking initiative, and volunteering for a job like that shows initiative because, let's face it, that's not a popular job. Now, cleaning the bathrooms did not mean cleaning a girl's bathroom and a boy's bathroom. There were 9 bathrooms, including the shower house, the girls' dorms, and the chapel, and 1 bathroom in the chapel that no matter how hard we cleaned it, always smelled like rotten old tacos. I think God was also working in my life by showing me a little bit of what it's like to be an adult, and in some way, a parent, because the kids on our team would ask us to help them with stuff. They kind of looked to us as mini counselors, and that was different for me because I'm used to being a camper and not a camp helper. I'm grateful for this experience because I really did feel like I was growing up. I'm terrified of growing up because it's harder for me to do things on my own and ask for help, but it was also kind of exciting, and I got a glimpse of what it felt like at camp. I want to thank Micah, Jana, Heidi, and Olivet Baptist Church for the service opportunity they gave us this summer. It was a great experience, and I look forward to what we get to do next summer.
Hello, my name is Javon. Camp was actually, it was pretty fun. One of the things that kind of gave me a highlight was kind of just bonding with the campers. There was a lot of good things that happened. The one thing that really opened me up is when they were giving their testimonies, and they felt like God opened up a spot for them to like do things. A low light was cleaning the bathrooms. The first stall we opened, Isaiah was like, well, plunge the toilet, Javon. I was like, oh. Yeah. Doing dishes wasn't fun either at all. It was a lot of dishes. It was cool working at the snack shop. It was nice seeing their smiles when they go out, just how happy they were. Yeah, I was called Jellyfish the whole time. These little curls, you know. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, I just want to thank Micah and Jana for letting me go and the people who sponsored the car wash. So thank you so much for listening to me.
All right. Heidi, if you can come on up here. I'm going to have Heidi and Jana wrap up our testimony time. Zach and Kennedy, their jobs were, Zach helped out Daniel with maintenance and then also on the zip line. And Kennedy was in charge of archery while we were there. And so she kind of ran the archery aspect of camp. And then Isaiah, he also ran the BB guns, the air gun range. And so I know those people aren't here today, so I just want to kind of tell you what their jobs was. I know Kennedy really, truly loves archery, and she loved teaching the kids how to use proper technique. I remember the first day we were there, I was a little concerned for Kennedy because she's one of the youngest in our group, and she's in charge of archery. And some of the older, senior boys that were campers would come up, and they were like, "You're little." And I'm not sure, you should be in charge of archery. And Kennedy, if you know Kennedy, wasn't going to have that. And so she had them all, lined up, clear on the left, clear on the right. You may commence firing, and all the boys like, "Oh, okay," And then she would make sure that they came back with all their arrows. If they shot one over, like, nope, go find it. Don't come back until you find your arrow. And she did a really good job at the archery aspect. And she also helped out a lot with the kitchen and every little place that we needed her. And Zach just brought the joy of the Lord with him. Whatever Zach did, he was always joyful and exciting, had a bunch of energy. In the morning, we would switch off the cleaning crew when it comes to the big pots and pans that couldn't fit into the little dishwasher that Caitlin was in charge of. And the boys, 7 o'clock in the morning, the boys, "Oh, I don't want to do this." And Zach's like, "Let's do this, guys, come on," and pulling them across the entire night. And he's over there singing and doing dishes and just bringing the joy with him. And so we really appreciate having the Yoders along with us, just bringing that joy and that encouragement. All right, we'll have Heidi and Jana go. These were our sponsors while we were up there. And so I'll just have them share some about their time and their perspective.
Good evening. My name is Heidi Burnett, for those of you that don't know me. I want to start off by saying how grateful I am to have had the opportunity to go on this trip. This is my first youth trip as a sponsor or as a leader. I loved getting to know our teens more through this trip and being able to serve alongside of them, as well as Mike and Jana. I personally had the privilege of being a counselor. Sarah Engel messaged me and asked me if I would be able to counsel because they had some counselors back out and they didn't have enough, and they had more kids the week that we were coming than they had had all summer. And so I was like, yeah, I'll do that, no problem. I have never counseled before, so I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but I loved it. It was a lot of fun. At first, I was a little nervous because I had never done it, but I'm very thankful for Jana because she was there just to kind of answer any questions that I had, any concerns or any frustrations or anything. She was right there just to answer any questions I had. God really worked in my heart all week, teaching me to be flexible and to be available for each of my campers. I wasn't with the youth group. Most of the time I would see them at the activities and stuff, and I tried to kind of go in there and help them when I had a break, but I didn't see them the whole time throughout the day. One of my favorite parts of the whole week that Jim Engel emphasized to us counselors was to have one-on-one time with our campers. And I really liked that because that was a time set aside to really get to know them personally. When you're in the cabin, they're all laughing, making jokes, having fun, or at the activities, you don't really get to hear their personal testimony or, really know anything personal. And so that was probably the best part to me, my highlight of the week. I told each of them while I was having the one-on-one time with them that I wanted them to feel comfortable to share anything with me. I wanted them to feel like they could share with me things that maybe they didn't feel comfortable sharing with anyone else. And I really felt like this was exactly where God needed me this week. My girls really opened up and shared with me things that were very deep, very personal, very burdensome. Sorry if I cry. Throughout the entire week, the girls and I really bonded. I'm thankful for the group that I had. They all got along really well. They were all very sweet with each other because I had girls from 8th grade to already graduated. And so there was a lot of younger girls and older, and they were all very nice to each other. And the fact that they got along made the experience very enjoyable. I want to thank you all for praying for us as we went on the trip. God worked in the hearts of our youth group, and I could tell that we all grew a little closer together. We had a lot of fun, lots of laughs. They all worked so hard every day and smiled through it all, even if the jobs weren't very enjoyable, like plunging toilets, cleaning bathrooms. And I just want to thank you for supporting us and praying for us as we were there. It was really great to see the Engels again and just to work alongside of them and to get to know Mike and Jan a little bit more. Thank you.
Okay, so I wrote it out this year. I typically don't, but I felt like this was a whole new experience for me this year, so in order to really kind of explain it, I even had to write it out for myself to really think about it. So this year, I was thinking back, out of our 4 trips that we've taken, 3 of them have involved camping of some sort, whether it be camping outdoors or helping with the camp. And so this year, going into this camping experience with Micah being a speaker, I was like, all right, I get to be a speaker's wife. I'll get to be like with the campers more. Having worked at camp, that was my expectation. That's not how it happened. So I definitely learned a lot through that because when we got there, I'm thinking I'm going to be able to build a relationship with kids. I'll have all these awesome conversations. And when we get there that night, we're divvying up what all of us are going to do. And I'm realizing we have a really young group. And there's a lot of age regulation to a lot of the program areas. So with the zip line, they needed 3 people to run it, and they all had to be, I think, over 17 or 18. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to help with that. And then come the first day after dishes, and the girls, bless their hearts, were in the dish pit for like hours and hours. They were there super late, and it was just taking forever. Just because the influx was so much, the camp had not had this large of week in, as far as we know, like decades. It's been a long time. So they just were not prepared for it when it came to staff because most of their kids that were helping with camp were campers, and the assistant cooks, they had a loss in their family that week, so they had left. So they were low on kitchen staff as well. So they were just really short for help and yet had the biggest week that they've had in years. So honestly, they would not have been able to run if it wasn't for our group being there. So I know that was a huge blessing to them. But my expectations definitely needed to change. And so going into that first day, I realized that I was going to have to be filling in some of those gaps. And I wasn't having that expectation going into it. So it was probably about Tuesday or Wednesday, I started to get throwing myself a pity party that I wasn't able to be with the kids a lot, or I wasn't able to have these conversations that Micah was able to have. And it dawned on me that I've been in the kitchen with cooks I don't really know, and I've been on the zip line with the same kids that are like competing if they can get the highest number of runs for the week. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna start memorizing names of all the kids that come through the zip line, and I'm gonna get to know the cooks. And it was so awesome. I got to learn a lot about these kids that were coming through, and the cooks, their testimony was so amazing. They quit their jobs to work camp, and they were like professional cooks. So it just blows my mind that God would work in such a way. And I would not have met them if I had not been in those positions. So, sorry. Just expectations going into the week. The Lord really broke me and humbled me to do things that I was not expecting, but just reminding me to be willing to serve in whatever area is necessary and needed, and that God will reward and grow and teach us in so many ways through those areas, and I'm so thankful for that. So in other news, it was really cool to see how God provided for the week. Having Heidi be able to drive, we needed a third driver because of how large our group was. And in addition, we normally use the Bungers van. Well, they weren't here. So we ended up, I was talking to my parents, and I totally forgot that they had a minivan. And they don't use it like ever. And so we were able to use that. And so that was super cool just to see God provide in different ways that honestly we may not have experienced other ways. So that was pretty cool. It was really cool to see our kids step up and do jobs that they probably don't even do at home half the time. And they got to see it on a large scale and do it 10 times more. And I very rarely heard complaining. And Zach, as you've heard, was literally smiling every time. He would get up at 6 in the morning and go to the kitchen and wash dishes before anyone was even there. The cooks weren't even there. And he'd be in there washing dishes. So it was just really cool to see our kids step up in ways that they hadn't, and it was hard. It was very hard work. So it was really cool. So thank you for praying and supporting us financially and by coming out to the car wash and praying for us during the week. We appreciate it.
All right, at this time, I'm going to have Nathaniel go ahead and throw up some pictures. We'll have a few pictures here I'm going to show you guys, but give you more of a context of what some of the kids have been talking about when they're talking about like the dish pit or zip line and that kind of thing. So, if I can have the lights on the stage lowered, and Janet, can you hit the pulpit light just so that we can see the pictures a little bit better. They're not all the best pictures, but I hope they capture a little bit more. All right, so here's our group when we first got there. You have Daniel in his traditional pose, and all of our youth group pictures, Daniel always takes the front and center. The first night we got there, Jim and Sarah Engel, they did a cookout for us, cooked us some brats and hamburgers. So this is us, first night eating together. And I'm not sure you can tell, but that's Caitlin. That's Caitlin Guest. She was our first guinea pig to go down the zip line. So when they were training Zach and Daniel and Jana on how to do it all, lock them in, put in the braces, and how to dismount, Caitlin was the first one. And it wasn't a perfect dismount. Zach kind of swinged her into the ladder. But I'm very thankful that Caitlin was brave enough to be the first one to go down. And Isaiah, there he is. He was like, it's pretty cool. This is all the kids in the snack shack. I know it's really dark. They all loved that. They would try to get done with their duties. There's only like 3 or 4 kids who were assigned to be in the snack shack, but they'd all try to get done with their chores and their duties before snack shack opened, so they could run in there and help out. They all really enjoyed being together and getting a system down and getting everyone through. It was a beautiful weather while we were there. Gorgeous weather. It was nice and cool. It never got above 80 degrees. It was in the 70s all week. Cool evenings, this beautiful sky, beautiful stars. There was, on Tuesdays, you may have heard, there were some tornadoes that hit Iowa. And we were expecting some of those tornadoes. We were in that area that came under the tornado watch, and we went through the drill, went through the procedures, what happens if something like this happen and we got a sprinkle. I mean, God just protected us. It blew right over us. All we got was a sprinkle, and it hit further east. So God protected us. Not only did he give us wonderful weather, but he protected us from the nasty weather as well. Here's Caitlin and Catherine in the dish pit, working away, doing all the dishes that come to them. Setting up every single meal, lunch, breakfast, and dinner. We have to set up all the plates and all the cups and silverware, and they can only go out 15 minutes before dinner is served. It's like a sanitary type rule. So that's why we incorporated all of the youth group to help out with us to get those out there and going. Here's Javon and Isaiah. They're working on the other side of the kitchen, scrubbing all the big pots and pans that don't fit into the dishwasher. More setting up. There's Kennedy helping set out the silverware. Eliza. This is Caitlin. She's cooked a whole bunch of brownies. And so she's cutting them up into perfect slices. I tried to cut the brownies and the desserts, and I figured out that I'm horrible at making the correct proportions. And so like some brownies are like massive and some are small. And Caitlin's like, I'll do it. The kids like my brownies though, because they would always go for the big ones. Like, yeah, have Pastor Micah cut them. Wasn't good. They had Taco Tuesdays. And so the servers got to wear sombreros as we serve up all the taco fixins and everything. And then after each meal, we had to collect all of the dishes, all of the silverware, and we had to sort them. So we had to sort all the forks, knives, and spoons. We had to get all the cups together and put into a bin, all of the plates together and put them into a bin. We had to scrape off all the leftovers and put that down the disposal. And then after they go through the washer, they have to dry. It was Caitlin setting them out to dry, and Daniel and Celeste would grab them and dry them and then put them away. There's Isaiah and Daniel drying. And these are the two cooks, the two main cooks that Jana mentioned, that quit their jobs this summer because they felt like they were being called to camp. And so they have been there in a trailer for the whole summer, and they have a lot of kids. They have a lot of kids that are with them that are helping out as well, a lot of young ones. There's Zach in the background, and this picture was taken after Zach broke the dishwasher. Zach broke a lot of things while we were there, but he fixed them. There was one time where I'm studying outside. It's a quiet time for me. I'm getting ready for the lesson, and I see Zach running across camp, full speed. I'm like, what's going on, Zach? And without stopping, he said, I broke the handle. I'm going to fix it. And so he broke the handle to a door that he was going into, and so he was running to the shed to grab some screws and to reattach it. Here's Kennedy. She's teaching a young man the proper techniques on shooting a bow and arrow. And Javon and Ronald, they were cleaning the bathrooms. Again, this picture is not the best, you really can't see, but that's Daniel up on top of a ladder. And this is the dismounting of the zip line. The zip line comes down across a little creek and then goes back up, and you come to the low point. And when you stop on the low point, there's a ladder there that you climb up, and we're able to take off the harness, and you're able to come down. Here's Daniel out weed eating around the bell. He did a lot of weed eating. I don't know how many areas or how much hours he spent weed eating, but he got really good. Here's Zach on his John Deere. Daniel didn't tell him, but after he broke 2 belts, he broke the steering axle. It came off. And he's like, man, I hate John Deere. And so the whole time he was just like, it wasn't my fault. It's a John Deere. John Deeres don't run well. And so. Oh, and then this is, you can't really tell, but these are the diffusers that go on the lights. And this is Daniel and Zed coming to me like we already broke a couple of them. We don't know how they go up. And I didn't know either, to be honest. So I just kind of told him just to put it aside and we'll get to it later. Here's Daniel, the pool boy, cleaning out the pool for us. And then we also did some extra cleaning around the camp that wasn't on our scheduled rotations. The windows haven't been washed in a long time, and so we started washing the windows on the base level, and of course one of them's like, we should go on the roof and clean the windows up there. And of course I'm like, okay. And so I'm thinking it's a couple of people, but they all want to get up there, and so they're all jumping up there and cleaning. So at least there's a good attitude. That's good. Of course, gotta get some pictures. Great job. This is their auditorium area. That is, I think it's me up there. And Joel and I both tag team. Joel would do the morning services, and I would do the evening services. And it was a packed out chapel. It was a very good time. There's Joel up there. And the kids loved Joel. He did a really fantastic job at communicating. And Sarah up there with Joel. On Wednesday night, we did a question and answer time. So Joel and I sat down. On Monday night, we sent out little 3x5 cards. And if you have any questions, that you would like us to try to answer, we would try to take a crack at them. And that was a really good time just to sit down and kind of gauge where the campers are at. And there are some really good questions. We were expecting a lot of silly questions, but I don't think we had really a silly one. They were all really deep and really good questions. And unfortunately, we were only able to get through about 6 or 7 of them. And we probably had 40 questions that we could have gone on. And all throughout the week, we had kids coming up to Joel and I and just asking us, well, what about this and what about that? And so it was also a good eye-opener for me, because when they come up to me for questions and I don't know the answers, I'm like, oh, that's a good question. I don't know that. And so I would tell them, let me do some research, I'll get back with you. And so by the end, when they're going home on Saturday morning, I had a stack of papers with their names on them. So I was getting back to the people who asked questions that I didn't know at that time, and here's my best answer, and here's scripture that supports it. So that was a really good time, growing experience for everybody. Filling up 4,000 balloons, water balloons. It's a lot of fun, different colors. Here's another picture of the snack shack. We did one night where we served outside. Do you remember what they called it? Chuck Wagon. Chuck Wagon Wednesday. I don't know what that means, but that's what they called it, Chuck Wagon Wednesday. And so we would go outside and do, hot dogs and hamburgers and that kind of stuff, and serve outside and have a picnic, which was, again, amazing because the weather was perfect. And Zach in his hat. Eliza. The only times we really saw Heidi was during the meals when she was coming through. So we would try to catch up with her. How's it going? You doing all right? Do you need anything? And then again at nighttime, we had some time to ourselves. So we would, go out and do some of the activities. And we'd be really quiet, which never worked. They were always loud. They'd be quiet. They're sleeping. Like, okay. And then 30 seconds later, they're screaming and yelling. Like, okay. Shh. But they enjoyed going out at night, just our group, and having some fun that way. Here's coming up to the zip line. You had to walk up a platform to get up there where Jana was, and she would hook you in and send you down. And Caitlin and Maria. You can't really see it, but this is a picture of the Gaga Ball ring. And so one night, the boys decided to go out and play some Gaga Ball after the campers had already gone to bed. And again, they weren't very quiet, but we had a good time. And this was on Saturday when we got to relax a little bit. Saturday we were up there was National Hammock Day, and so everyone brought out their hammocks and we set them up in the trees and had a good time. Here's, going several layers high, and people would try to see, how high they can get and set up their hammock. So it was a good relaxing time. I came back, I don't have a picture of this, but I came back a couple hours later and they're all asleep in their hammocks. So that was really good. This is a picture from Jana's view. She's on another tree. You can see other hammocks in the tree behind her. Zach and Candy were able to help out in some of the skits. It was really good. And then again, this picture, you can't really see it well, but Friday night we had a bonfire, and that was just a good testimony time, hearing how God's worked in the lives of a lot of the kids that were there. And then here's our group at the end of the day with Daniel and his pose. And then these are the Ingalls here on the side, and Josephine and Chaz and all of them. All the kids are growing up, they're getting tall and big. I remember when we first pulled in, not all the kids remembered us. They were like, you kind of look familiar, but I don't remember really who you are. And then I remember at the end of the week, as we're pulling away, you look in the back seat, and all the kids are crammed into the back seat, Josephine and Chaz and all of them, like, hi. They want to go back with us. And I was like, oh, no. So it was good just to reconnect with them and to encourage them while we were there. We also had a bonfire while we were there, just our group and a few of our friends that we made there at the staff. We're trying out some new things. We tried out doughboys, which are crescent rolls, and you wrap them around your skewer and you cook them, and then you dip them in butter and sugar and cinnamon, and they're delicious. And then, of course, they try, whenever you get these boys around leftover foods, we try to cook new things. And so we recooked some breakfast pizza, which is actually really good, delicious, over the fire. What else did we try? We tried roasting some sausages, and that was really good. We did some candy, different kind of candy, like Starbursts, and melted them down and ate them, and it was all delicious. It was all really good. The fire was a little too hot, so everyone's like, trying to stay awake, trying to get it warmed up. And then on the way back, we stopped off at a restaurant and had a nice meal, a big meal. I won't forget Isaiah's face because I give him a limit, like you can't spend over this much money. And so, of course, the boys find the most expensive thing that's just under the limit I gave them. And it was like this sampler meat platter. And it comes out, and it's a huge sampler meat platter. And Isaiah's like, this is for me? He's like, yeah. And he looks at me like guilty, like, I'm sorry, I didn't know it's this much. I was like, no, you ordered it, you have to eat it all. All right, while we were there, this is something that they wrote up for us. And how many minutes we spent there, how many miles we walked, going from place to place, always moving in games, how many pans we washed, how many pitchers we washed, how many plates we washed, how many toilets we cleaned. And 2 night swims that we were able to do, and they wrote down there at the bottom, 1 week at Raccoon River Bible Camp, priceless. And so it was a lot of work. The kids did a lot, but it's something that was priceless. So I just want to say thank you for supporting us. Before we conclude, though, Joel and Sarah, like I said, they were there as well, and they were doing the morning AM services, and they apologize they can't be here tonight. They're also working. Joel's working. But Joel did make a short little video of Raccoon River. It's a short, 2-minute little video, but it kind of gives you a better idea, maybe cinematically, what happened. So I'm going to go ahead and have Nathaniel, if you can pull that up, and we'll get that going here. that's going to conclude our night tonight. I just want to say once again, thank you so much for praying for us and sponsoring the youth and giving us the opportunity to be able to serve the people at Raccoon River. I'm going to have Pastor come on up and we'll conclude in prayer here. And dear God, thank you so much for today. And once again, thank you so much for Olivet Baptist Church and